So here's a health update. I mentioned before I early retired from the federal government, and I've been using this YouTube channel to sort of provide helpful advice for people who were dealing with the layoffs and the VERAs and downsizing and rifts in the federal government. But since many of the people who tuned in were asking about VERAs and VSIPs and early retirements and pensions, uh, I feel like this is appropriate. So one of the things I've been focusing on in early retirement is my health and wellness. So right now I'm at the dog park, and normally my better half and I take turns taking the dog out, but the dog park is a little far away, and I tend to like to do that, and I do that at the end of the day. So sun sets now around 5 o'clock because it's the winter. So she's still working, but I have time, so I take the dog here. And I don't drive here because driving would be quicker, but I wouldn't get the exercise. So, I want to get the steps in. I want to focus on my health. And, that's one of the things I'm doing. So last year I did get blood work done, and it said that my blood sugar was high. And I tried to tighten up my diet a little bit. But this year when I had the same blood work done, I got the same result. I'm pre-diabetic. And it is something that runs in my family, so I want to take it seriously. My grandmother, who's a wonderful woman, had this, and when her husband died, she remarried. She wasn't taking as good care of herself as she should, and by the time one of my uncles went to see her, she had some issues going on with her feet and had to have them both amputated. And for a very independent woman who, now she couldn't even walk around on her own, it was very depressing, and she passed away shortly after. So I'm very conscious of that, and I want to make sure I try my best to outrun those genes. So one of the best pieces of advice somebody gave me before I early retired, and he had early retired also, he said to develop good habits, because you do a lot of things when you have free time, and if they're bad habits, when you retire, you have all the time in the world. So, if in your free time you play video games or you drink or do some other thing that's unhealthy, sit around, watch TV, you're going to do a lot of that in retirement. So he said in the months leading up to it, you should do your best to develop the best habits you can. And I did that with going to the gym and things like that. I have been dealing with injuries. So in jiu-jitsu, I started when I was 37, which is a little old, but at 54, the injuries are even harder to deal with. And, I popped a rib recently, a floating rib. And so I did go back yesterday, but it was the first time in like 2.5 weeks that I was able to go back. So I'm going back now. I'm trying to put my ego aside and just think of it as exercise and moving around, because I want to be healthy for the rest of my life. And that should be the goal. Another thing I did in retirement is get the full work done, full checkups, because I hate the doctor, I hate needles, and I would only go if I was really sick or something was broken. But one of the things I did, which I'm glad I did, is I did a sleep study, and it turns out that I have sleep apnea, and several times an hour while I was sleeping, my breathing would stop. And that was the reason I was snoring loudly. And then I got fitted for a CPAP machine, and it was difficult to adjust to it for the first few weeks, and it was kind of depressing because it feels like I'm Darth Vader with the mask on. But it helped. I sleep better. I don't wake up tired. And long term, if you have sleep apnea that is not addressed, it leads to things like strokes and heart disease and stuff like that, all of which runs in my family. So I wasn't going to take any chances with that. I wanted to head it off as soon as possible. So that's been an adjustment, but I feel like it was worth it. And I actually have two CPAP machines, one that was paid for by the insurance company, and you can only buy them with an insurance prescription, but a doctor's prescription. But I did find somebody else selling the exact same machine on Facebook Marketplace for like $200, and they cost like $1,000 from the insurance company. And I did buy another one, which was the same model, but used an older, and I use that for travel. So it does take some effort to pull out all the wires and pack everything away. And if I'm traveling early in the morning and I have a spare one that's exactly the same and I know how it works, I can just pack and then just grab the spare one when I go. And since I didn't pay for it through the insurance company, I paid for it on my own, and it was only a couple $100. If it gets lost or broken or stolen, it's not that big a deal. Whereas the one from the insurance company, it's like $1,000, and you can only get one every 5 years, and God forbid you lose it, you're out of luck. So anyway, that's what's going on health-wise with the high blood pressure, pre-diabetes, and obstructive sleep apnea. But anyway, other than that, retirement has been great. I've been focusing on health and wellness, but my better half is still working, and she's more important than I am. So she gets to go on work trips, and then I meet her there, and we turn it into a vacation. So we did see a lot more traveling since I retired than before I retired. So we went to see a Beyonce concert in Paris. And then she had a business meeting in Stockholm. So, we went to Stockholm and Riga, Helsinki, and Tallinn on a different trip. And then she had a business trip to Costa Rica, and we went down there and went to the beach and saw, these capuchin monkeys and sloths and things like that. And recently she had a trip for COP30, the environmental summit in Brazil. And we went down there, and we just got back from Rio de Janeiro, so had a great time there. So I wasn't kidding that I lucked out. She's a wonderful person, and definitely is doing better in her career than I did in mine. When I would get sent on a business trip, it was always either New York or Chicago, and government hotels. But she gets flown to these baller locations, and I get to go with her. And she has no desire to early retire yet, but I'm enjoying it, and I'm trying to be a good partner and do more things around the house and stuff like that, since she's still working. So my dad came up to visit, and we replaced some of the windows in my house with bigger ones, and I had this fence that was a wood fence that was knocked down in a storm, and we replaced that with a new one. And then the hardwood floor that was damaged also during a storm surge and some flooding in my house, we replaced that. So I've been keeping busy, and I don't think my career is over. So I have been interviewing, and I set up a website through my to do my consulting through an LLC, and I'm hopeful about that, and hopeful about the interviews. But I know some of you in the federal government are wondering, well, how would I transition to civilian life? Am I employable? What kind of job would I get? And those are all valid concerns. And if staying in the government is for you, stay. And if leaving is for you, leave. But whether you leave or whether you stay should be your decision based on what's best for you and your family. It shouldn't be because the current administration is trying to force you out. So anyway, like and subscribe if you want to see more updates like this. If you want to support the channel, there's a Buy Me a Coffee link. Don't feel like you have to, though. And if there's future videos like this that you want to see, leave a comment below. If you want to just see stuff about employment law and things like that, let me know. And I did mention in another video, I will have a guest soon, a labor lawyer who agreed to talk about labor issues that you might be facing right now. And there were a lot of questions that I got in the comments that I didn't feel qualified to answer because they were very specific. And so if you have specific questions about EEOC or labor issues, or filing a grievance, things like that, just leave them in the comment and I'll collect them. And then when I interview him, we can have him address those directly. All right. Have a great day, everyone. And as I'm filming this, it's a couple of days before Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving. I know Thanksgiving is a time for thinking about what you're thankful for. And I'm thankful for my family and my better half. And, as I said, I started this channel to put out videos to help you guys out. And I'm thankful for, how it's been received by you guys. and the positive comments I've gotten from you and how it's helped you. So as I said, happy Thanksgiving, and we'll talk soon.